All right, Ask Allison. Hi. Thank you to TherapyNotes for sponsoring us today. Here is a question. I run a psychoed process group. How do I manage group dynamics online? What tech would you recommend? So the platform actually matters a lot, in my opinion, around the group dynamics. I highly recommend Zoom. You guys can find that at zoom.us if you're not already well acquainted with it. It allows for this Brady Bunch-like view where you see everybody's face that's the same size. And I encourage group members to change it from speaker view, which makes the loudest person biggest, and then everybody has little tiny faces, to the gallery view, which has us Brady Bunch style. You can see people's reactions. You can gauge many nonverbals. I know some people have said, like, you can only do like the chest up basically, but sometimes you can notice things like if I'm like shaking my leg really hard, you can kind of see me vibrate a bit. So there are some nonverbals that flow up. Unfortunately, you can see jaw clenches, you can see deep breaths. There's a lot of nonverbals you can still catch. I'd go ahead and talk about the pull people may have. If their notifications pop up, encourage them to turn off notifications for the group time. The compulsion to pull up social media or the news, address that that's a normal need. That's what they normally do on their computers. And when it's a group experience, it feels less like they're going to be noticed, but it's going to be really obvious. So let them know so that they're not embarrassed if you have to gently be like, hey, Susie, can you come back to us? Maybe give an example, pull up a website while you're talking to them and say, this is what it looks like. You can tell they're not engaged, right? And that their eyes are reading. So give them an example and request that they bring the same level of presence to the group that they always have when it's been in person. Once people get used to it, it's going to feel really similar to an in-person group. I used to do 6 to 8 people online groups when I did the abundance practice building small groups. It wasn't therapy, but definitely several of us cried at any given time because, you know, business brings up your stuff. It can still feel safe. There just need to be a few considerations that might not need to, like, well, still, we might have to say, depending on the group, like, don't play with your phones while you're in here in an in-person group, but still. Now, if Zoom is misbehaving, Google Hangouts is my second choice. It has a similar, I mean, you can still see everybody's face, but it's not that Brady Bunch style that I prefer for a group. I want to discourage using FaceTime for groups. I just FaceTimed with 4 of my girlfriends a couple nights ago, and it does this awful swooping thing that anybody like me with motion sickness probably can't handle. Like within 2 minutes, I was like, we have to change platforms. I can't, I'm going to vomit. So I discourage FaceTime groups. That's what I've got for you guys. Please shoot me any questions. We've got a lot of resources for you over at abundancepracticebuilding.com/COVID. Everything from like what to do about your mortgage to how to have conversations with your clients around this stuff. So we've got stuff there. DM me on Instagram any questions you may have that you'd like me to answer here. I'm doing a few a day until I can get through my list. I'm happy to add your question on my list. All right, I'll talk with y'all soon.